Hello everyone, Shadefyre here, and welcome to the start of this playthrough of Fatal Frame, the original, for the PS2, which I have never played aside from the video I did on it previously. The only Fatal Frame games that I have experience with so far are Fatal Frame 2, which I've seen all of but have not actually played myself. It was a kind of a communal friend playthrough, and I was not the controller. So I kind of know most of what happens in 2. And then, of course, I did a Let's Play of Maiden of Black Water, the last Fatal Frame game to come out. Specifically, the PC port of it. And I enjoyed that, but it was definitely very padded. You know, it was ended up being like a 20-hour LP. And a lot of the story was like, oh, here's a new development, but unfortunately we're going to have to go back down to the bottom of the mountain, and then you're going to have to walk your ass back up. But I have wanted to play the first game, and for a long time, the reason I didn't cover it on my channel was because there was a unfortunate crash on the final boss that would, you know, kind of prevent you from finishing the game without having to do some very specific things. So I thought I would just wait until that was fixed, and apparently that's not an issue for PCSX2 anymore, so that's why we're playing it. And despite the fact that it very clearly says based on a true story here, that was very much a marketing thing for the North American version of the game. It's based on, you know, inspired by random little bits and pieces of real stories in Japan of mysterious murders and whatnot, but ultimately it is entirely fiction. Alright, you can remember to turn on subtitles, because these games can be very quiet with their dialogue. That was something I definitely remember about our group playthrough of... I think I have to get in here first. Our group playthrough of Fatal Frame 2.
I wonder how long it's been since my brother and I began to see things other people can't see.
And it's definitely exacerbated when you have friends who can't shut the fuck up when there's a cutscene.
My big brother. He was so sweet and kind. He was the only one I could open up to about these visions. After our mother died, he was my only family.
So this is Himuro Mansion.
The voice acting is not great. It was, you know, a time when Japanese developers didn't really worry that much about how the English voices sounded.
My brother was in search of someone. Junsei Takamine, a famous novelist, and a man my brother was very indebted to, disappeared while researching a book. When he told me that he got a lead on Mr. Takamine's whereabouts, I felt uneasy, like he was going far away.
Himuro intro.
The forbidden rituals of this area. It looks like Mr. Takamine was doing research into them. I wonder if his group is still here.
Alright, so we are going to be retreading familiar ground here because I did do a first impressions video on this game a while back. You might also notice, though, if you saw that video, that this looks considerably better because I have now got patches that will remove all the blur and, you know, general old-timey distortion that were meant to make the game look better before you could upscale it. Alright, so we already have a Camera Obscura. I did not mean to do that. Have to remember that this is a game where confirm is sometimes X and sometimes circle. Got some camera ammo, aka film. Idiot. Alright, before I forget, again, let's pop in here. There is a subtitle option. I don't know where it is. Maybe there isn't one. Or maybe it was in the main menu. Oh well, I'll check again later. But let's get through the intro here. The whole game is not in black and white. Only this prologue section. Also, I didn't even realize this when we did the first impressions, but you can actually freely waggle the flashlight. Which is something I knew you could do in the Wii game. You know, the fourth Fatal Frame. Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, which was, I guess actually the most recent release was the remaster of that. Though they did just announce a week or two ago that Fatal Frame 2 is getting a remake. You know, they kind of just went with the Silent Hill approach and went, we'll just remake the most popular one. Okay, so this old camera is our save point. There's my test save to make sure all the graphic stuff was working. I do actually have an HD texture pack of sorts going on, so some things will look a little better, but, you know, I didn't want to, like, jam the graphics up too much by cranking up all the settings. There's an angry-looking mask on the wall. You will also notice that our characters' heads will look at stuff all over, but unlike something like Resident Evil, where they only look at interactable stuff, here they will look at anything you can also, like, just examine, even if it's not an item. Broken partition screen. I like how this is kind of a real-time version of the Resident Evil doors, because you still zoom in up on them to open them, but you can actually just turn around and not go through them. I like how it just teleports shut if you do that. But yeah, so like, if something pops up behind us as we're opening a door, we can go, no, I will not let you. Ghost. Rope hallway man. Is that a Kojima character? Rope physics of the early 2000s. There's a big mirror, but it only shows my own reflection. I don't really know what he means by that. I can clearly see the wall behind you. Who else's reflection should you be seeing? Board nailed to the door. Probably been there a while. I'll try another room. So yeah, anytime the little filament meter on the bottom right lights up, it means there is either a ghost around or some supernatural phenomena, depending on the color. In first person like this, we can actually walk around a little bit, but it is definitely not a functional way to play the game all the time. It's more for, you know, just kind of repositioning if you can't quite see a ghost as you are fighting it. However, the Xbox port of the second game actually does have an entirely first-person version that they specially made for that port. An old suit of armor here. Doesn't seem to be just for show. Seen some hard use. There are a lot of antiques here, but in poor repair. The owner's hobby, maybe? An old lion mask. Many other antiques, too. Collecting was the owner's hobby? He really wants to know the owner's hobby. Lots of antiques here. They might have been worth something at some point. Is the owner a collector? There isn't anything special in this drawer. No antiques here. Dust has been disturbed around the sunken fireplace, as if it had been used recently. Ghost! Oh, hold on, ghost! I think I might have missed him. Yeah. Ghosts are kind of a collectible in this game, in that there's some stuff you unlock for getting all of them. But not really a big deal otherwise if you miss them. Clock, it's been stopped for a while. There are cobwebs. So we have a blue filament right now, which is ghostly phenomena in a fixed location. Angry man. God damn it. So this game does not use the typical Japanese control scheme. X is not cancel, it is activate. I was confused on that because I've been playing Monster Hunter 4U, which does use, basically B as cancel. I did it again. Don't need the camera, just need to pick up what's on the floor.
This notebook. It's Mr. Takamine's. That was Mr. Takamine, so he did come here.
Shooting ghosts. Yep, you can, in fact, kill ghosts with the camera, as we have just learned. So in this game, kind of similar, I guess, to still how Maiden in Blackwater was doing it. The longer you hold the camera on the ghost, the more damage you do. And then if you wait until right before they attack, you can do a fatal frame. Much easier to do in this, though. These ghosts are very slow. I'm not sure if a zero shot is the same thing as a fatal frame, or if I have to wait just a little bit longer for it.
I captured a ghost with this camera. This camera has the power to expose things the normal eye can't see. I remember the incident from which I learned of its unique power to capture ghosts.
That ghost, I don't know how you're supposed to get that one. I guess you have to already know that one's coming, because it's directly under where you are when it appears. With this camera... Staircase has fallen down. Probably been down a while. Nothing to do with Takamine. There's a black padlock on the door. Well, we've confirmed that he was here. Time to leave. The door to the entrance is open, but I'm sure it was just closed a while ago. Mirror check. Still only showing my own reflection. Oh, what does he see? I thought he had something to say about the door because he was looking at it.
It's been 2 weeks since I last heard from my brother. But he left a note that led me to this place. I felt as though something was calling me here. Mafuyu.
Alright, now we are back in color because we are in the present time playing as our actual protagonist.
My brother was here. What is this place? Did someone just...
I'm sure it's nothing. Front door won't open, as if something is holding it. Seems sealed by a powerful force. It's also worth noting that her outfit is different in the North American version than it is in the Japanese and European versions. I don't know if it's really censored, because apparently the reason is to make her look more capable of handling business, rather than, you know, to make it less risque. Because I wouldn't exactly say that the standard outfit is risque either. It's like shorts that have a translucent outer layer on top of a non-translucent underlayer. Or possibly a skirt, I can't tell. But yeah, I think that is not one of those cases where people can be like, censorship. Herbal medicine. Always useful. I like how a bunch of these things have the exact same text when you examine them as her. Quickly, before we continue, what I'm going to do, I'm going to save. I'm going to go back to the main menu. I want to see if I can turn on subtitles. Yeah, there's like no way to open the options from there. I was pretty certain there was a subtitles option. The second game definitely has one. Maybe it was only the undub, which I had tested out before this, that had a subtitle option. Well, I guess I'll just have to not be a hypocrite and shut the fuck up during cutscenes. So you can hear their very soft voices. Cold air is flowing in through a big hole in the floor. Something fell through here? I don't exactly remember where we stopped in the first impressions, so I don't know how far we have to get the new stuff. Sir? You notice the red light on the save point? I'm guessing you cannot say when there is a ghost near you. Okay, piece of a notebook. September 12th. Now there's another rope! And another rope! Very interesting, yes. Now, there are actually notes that we can read off the bat, but I think we have to find the notebook again first. So go to File. Yeah, we don't have anything in here yet. But I don't think I realized that when I was doing the first impressions that there are already notes in there at the beginning of the game. I mean, we probably could have read them as Mafuyu, but figured, you know, we're gonna have to switch anyway, so. Okay, what's got your notice? I don't know. Okay. I guess some things you cannot examine more than once. He really did get flashbanged and drop the camera.
Miku!
Did something happen to my brother?
For just a moment, the mirror was not just showing yourself. I picked up my brother's camera and notebook from the floor. Mom's old camera. My brother had this with him. Found a new note inside Mafuyu's notebook. Himuro Mansion Investigation. Himuro Mansion was once the home of a large landowner that controlled vast areas of land. They also say that the site held some special significance that had to do with the Shinto rituals of the region. I couldn't find any detailed books about these Shinto rituals, though. The last master of the Himuro family line massacred his entire household. Later, another family that tried to live there disappeared. Because of incidents like these, nobody visits the mansion today, and it lies in ruins. Maybe that's why there aren't any accounts of the Shinto rituals, and why the exact location of the place isn't recorded anywhere. September 24th. I've had a bad feeling ever since I came to this mansion. I'm leaving notes in this notebook just in case anything happens to me. I've got to find Mr. Takamine and the others fast. I hope it's not too late. There are many other notes and news articles inside the notebook. Man on a beam. Talking about ropes. The door is still nailed shut. Who could that woman be? Yeah, see, those are all the exact same dialogue. Not any different for her. More herbal medicine. Rose Shadow. I love how literal a lot of these names are, and then you get ones like that. Clock stopped at 11:45. There aren't any books of real interest here. There's a box of film in front of the broken staircase. Type 14 is the weakest film. It's not even like the normal film, it's like the trash throw it away film. Unfortunately, I don't think we can switch film on the fly here like you could in Maiden of Blackwater. I think that was actually a possibly unique trait for that game that didn't exist in any of the ones before that. But we also were not going to be fighting like a dozen ghosts at a time all the time like you were in that game. There's an old folding screen here. It might have been pretty once, but it's faded now. It's locked. I hear something on the other side of the door. Maybe someone's in there? I mean, I don't know. You hear that coming through a door. Maybe you just, don't investigate. Alright, let's check our files here. You can see there was a lot of, research notes and a news clipping. There was a report just yesterday that a star novelist, Junsei Takamine, age 42, has been missing since the 8th of this month. Mr. Takamine's assistant, Tomoe Hirasaka, and his editor, Koji Ogata, are also missing. Mr. Takamine last made a phone call to his publisher on September 8th regarding his research trip and has not been heard from for 14 days. The publishers first assumed that the research was taking longer than expected, but since there were no calls from Mr. Ogata, they decided to file a missing persons report. Not very helpful. We already knew that they were missing. September 10th, 1:10 p.m. There seems to be a few devices in this mansion that are engraved with old characters. When I asked Mr. Takamine about them, he said they corresponded to numbers. I understand the first few. They're the old characters for the numbers 0 through 3. But I don't get the rest. They're characters that have the same readings as 4 through 9, but mean something different. I feel like this is going to be important later. Yeah, I'll figure out the rest later too. September 11th. I haven't been feeling well since 2 nights ago. Actually, it's more like ever since Tomoe took my picture. What in the world does the rope in this photo mean, I wonder? Are these notes by Rope Guy? Who is, I guess, Ogata? September 10th, 11 a.m. It looks like the earthquake last month and the murders in that village have something to do with Himuro Mansion. This stuff is probably all going into Mr. Takamine's next book. He really seems to be into this subject matter. His output rate should be good. September 10th, 4 p.m. The entrance door is broken. When in the world did that happen? It won't open. I'll have to find another way out. August 20th. Mr. Takamine needs some background material for his next work. There's a book about Himuro Mansion by a certain folklorist, and I'm supposed to look for it. A book about Shinto rituals and legends from every part of the country. Author Ryozo Munakata. Title unknown. August 22nd. I can't find the book, but I did some checking on the folklorist. I found out he moved into Himuro Mansion to do research on it. But after some certain event, he and his whole family disappeared. Well, I guess now we know who the other family that tried to move in was. I couldn't find the book, but I found a news article from that period about it. It's a small missing person story, but it might be helpful as background material. Himuro Mansion investigation. You got all this already? Alright. Proceed. Except we know that there's really nowhere to go up here. Except there is some herbal medicine. You can't open the black padlock. That guy might have the worst voice of the people we've encountered so far. Tomoe, where have you both gone? Hey there.
Should I take a photo?
It's kind of funny that I'm playing Fear right now as well. And, you know, in that we have the creepy little black-haired girl who is trying to kill us. And then in this, we have a apparently very helpful little black-haired ghost girl. No folding screen in the photo. The door appears where the screen should be. I really feel like we didn't need a supernatural hint for that. She could have just looked behind the screen and be like, oh yeah, there's a door back there. Like, I wouldn't even really call that a hidden door. It's a folding screen. It's a big sheet of paper.
Just like in the photo.
That's even less hidden than if there was like a bookshelf in front of it. There seems to be a hidden door behind the folding screen. I think you know by now, though, that my tolerance for goofy or bad voice acting is pretty high. This votive lamp is not lit, so it really doesn't bother me that the voice acting might not be great in this. There's a small piece of paper on the chest. It looks like a news clipping. Late yesterday, a human body with no limbs was found in Himuro Mountain, located in the southern region of the prefecture. The body's hands, feet, and head were all torn off. The police is The police is investigating the case as both a murder and accident. The body has not been identified, but it is believed to be a man around the age of 30. The police is also taking into consideration the fact that a body, mutilated in the same manner, was found in the same location 15 years ago. Pretty ornamental dish on the chest of drawers. Wandering man. Woman in a kimono is coming. There's a box of film. Type 37. It looks like a new roll of film. I wonder if Mafuyu left it here. Also, these Camera Obscuras are supposed to be very old because they were all made by the same guy. But they take modern, or, in the 80s, modern film. Oh, it was just a creepy recording. This guy is so hungry for attention. He just has to keep popping out of this. Don't worry, those are helping hands.
What was that?
I found a tape recorder in the closet. It's covered with dust, but it seems to work. I like that the sound just keeps going even though we picked it up. An audio tape has been left inside the tape recorder. An audio tape with a white label. It's stopped in the middle. So we can also listen to the audio tapes as we find them.
September 9th, 5:40 p.m. The mansion was nowhere to be seen on the map, so we finally had to ask the locals how to find it. They told us that Himuro Mansion had been empty for several decades now. The same ones who told us where it was also warned us not to come here, which was quite disconcerting.
If y'all go up there, you're doomed. That guy also has pretty bad voice acting, though. There's no inflection at all. Like, the other guy is goofy, but he's just like, and then they told us not to go up there. That was unusual. An old kimono hangs here. It's faded and dusty, but the red lining is still vivid. I mean, it's more obvious for this one. I don't know, these look like blood-stained old sacks from this angle. Nope.
Mr. Takamine, Toy, where have you both gone?
We could not get a voyeuristic shot of Wandering Man that time. Hold on, there is actually an item here. Well, we haven't taken any damage yet, but we have picked up a lot of healing. It looks like an old kimono chest. It looks like a small mirror stand, but the mirror is missing. The drawer is locked. Well, I'm assuming if we find the mirror, we will open the kimono chest. Nope. Hold on. Something spooky going on back here. Woman in kimono. Alright, well, he's wandered right into a fight with us. Insta-kill. The camera began to glow with a mystical power. The camera's seal. So yeah, we can power up the camera. That, I guess, has been a mechanic for the entire series. Something underneath the window. The audio tape with the white label seems to be okay. Hold on, let me open every other menu.
September 9th, 9:40 p.m. It seemed dangerous to walk through the mountain at night, so we decided to spend the night here and continue our work. I've been through several rooms already. Unlike the exterior, the interior is still in quite good shape. A little earlier, I thought I saw a white, shadowy figure of a woman in the hallway near the entrance. I'll keep track of such sightings and publish them in a later account.
Write that down, that's content. Oh. I can feel something coming from the mirror stand. Nope. Something shows in the photo. It looks like the lion mask near the sunken fireplace. I put the photo in my file. I guess this has always been a mechanic as well, where it's like, you need a key for this, but let us show you where the key is. Also, I have to appreciate that this series, a lot of the time, instead of having a jump scare, they will just have something spooky very suddenly and very silently appear in front of a character. Yep. Still just spooky backwards sounds coming from that closet. They were not coming from the tape recorder at all. Alright, well, we know who the Lion Mask is. Didn't we just kill you? Again? I mean, I guess we don't actually know that the camera is, like, destroying their restless spirit. Could just be banishing it for a moment. I definitely think you refight the same ghosts in Fatal Frame 2 a bunch of times. And we certainly fought the same ghosts over and over and over again in Maiden of Blackwater. I meant to mention it earlier, but yeah, Maiden of Blackwater had a lot of padding in it. It is also the longest game in the series, so we will not have a 20-hour playthrough. This game is only like 7 or 8 hours. Held by a powerful force. Okay, well, we're not going in there yet. Votive lamp is lit. I wonder who lit it. So I think we'll grab the mirror and then we'll save it there for this first episode. Really just kind of retreading old ground and getting the setup for Himuro Manor. I think the entire game takes place just in the manor, though it could be that there's more, you know, of the grounds later on. But I think it is a smaller setting than the later games, which all have kind of multiple places that you go. You know, the second game takes place in an entire village where you go from building to building, and each one is like a mini Resident Evil area. I found a red hand mirror inside the ornamental lion mask. I got the red hand mirror. It was inside the ornamental lion mask. I will say that, yeah, this feels pretty fluid to play right now. Like, I don't feel like I'm really wrestling with it, but then again, I am pretty familiar with tank controls and, you know, have played a number of games that play like this. Okay, what are you looking at? I'm not going to mash the button. I'm going to be gentle with it. Something is catching her eye. Maybe it's the thing I skipped over before? Not that it's that important, but you know what? You can examine the environment. I like to do it. But alright, I guess that will do it for the beginning of this playthrough of Fatal Frame. I definitely would like to play 2 and 3 on the channel as well. Maybe 4, I guess, since we have a decent enough port of it. But yeah, 2 and 3 I definitely want to play because 2 is actually very good. I think it's a refinement on this game. Well, I can't really say that because I haven't played that much of this yet. But I've heard that it is overall meant to be a refinement of this game. And specifically, they wanted to make a much better story for the second game to get people to push through because apparently a bunch of people didn't finish this first game because it was too scary. And so they wanted to craft a more compelling story that would get those people to push on through the scary and finish the game. Which I think is interesting. But yeah, thank you for joining me for the start of our journey into Himuro Mansion. And I hope I will see you back here in the spooky zone again next time. But until then, you folks all take care.